Okay, guys, just checking something there, but I wanted to come on here, and you see the title down below. And first of all, let me explain. I am with all of you on this. I love this new incarnation for Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt / Wyndham Rotundo. I like this new incarnation. I like this new take on his character. The Fiend. He's getting all these comparisons to horror characters, iconic horror characters like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, you name it. Heck, when they introduced the Fiend mask for Bray Wyatt to wear, a lot of people compared it to the Joker when the Joker wore his own face as a mask after he cut his own face off. It's like when you get a cut deep enough and you see kind of like that little red a little bit and you touch it and it stings. That's what the Joker did in the Death of a Family, or at least a prelude leading into Death of a Family story arc about a couple years ago. He did that, and people made that comparison. So, getting all these different comparisons and everything, even comparisons to iconic horror or thriller games like Resident Evil and Doom and such, is a great comparison. But, here's why I worry. Here's where the worry comes in. You see, as great as the entrance that he got tonight in his re-debut match against Finn Balor, this is the reason. This entrance, I believe, is one of the main reasons that they rated SummerSlam TV 14 tonight. That's why they gave SummerSlam the TV-14 rating tonight. Because of that entrance. I mean, it was similar to his old one. He had a heavy metal remix of his old theme. He came out holding a lantern, but this time it wasn't a regular lantern. It was a lantern that was basically a severed head of the old Bray Wyatt. That's what it was, with lights glowing out of it. From what Deluxe Man has said it was, from what people reported on Twitter and places. I didn't get to watch the show just yet because, of course, the stream on PS4 and laptops and all that was not the best. So that's kind of weird. I'm thinking maybe, and again, I don't want to put the blame on them of the location, but I think it's maybe because they went in Toronto. Because everywhere else they've been, it's not really been an issue, but Toronto for some reason was. It makes you wonder. But anyway, he had that entrance, and then when you go to the ringside area and he's getting in, you have these two heads of Bray Wyatt with the Fiend mask on, and you have lights coming out of those. I don't know if those were put up there or those were 3D effects, whatever they were. And it looked great, looked awesome, looked creepy as it should. It gave you that feel. It gave you that vibe and that feel that you need to have when it comes to a character like this. Especially when you're reintroducing a character that you tried to push before, dropped the ball on, and now you're saying, yeah, this is who we want to, this is the Bray Wyatt we definitely want to go with. And that's all great, but again, this is why I worry. You see, you could get away possibly with having Bray Wyatt as the Fiend, keep that entrance and have that kind of entrance and stuff, for your pay-per-views or your live events or whatever. But you can't have it for Raw. And this is not to say what Deluxe Man said in his review should be what they do. Deluxe Man basically said, look, you got to treat Bray like a special attraction. Don't have him wrestle all the time. And that's true. That is partially true. But I think, honestly, Alex, if you're watching, I think there's a reason maybe you said that. Because you sense the same thing I do, and I'm sure everybody else does. That if they allow Bray Wyatt as the Fiend to wrestle on television, on Raw or SmackDown, and have that entrance like he did at SummerSlam tonight, that would get WWE in trouble. That would put them under the bus. Because there's a lot of stockholders and shareholders, in case you don't know, that have incentive. There's a lot of people that have tons of stock in the company, put a lot of money into their stock for the company. There's a lot of shareholders that have done something similar. So with all the money they're generating into the company through stocks and shares and all that, We could say Vince McMahon has the final say, but in reality, these stockholders and these shareholders have the true final say. And there has been reports in the past where shareholders and stockholders, certain members, very influential members, have not been happy with some of the controversial moments or gimmicks or characters WWE has been putting out there. And what's happened? Sometimes those moments, those angles, those characters, those gimmicks, they get tweaked or they just get put on the shelves indefinitely. Well, this is where I worry about the Bray Wyatt Fiend character. You cannot tell me that there's not a ton of shareholders and stockholders that were not watching SummerSlam tonight that saw that entrance. Now, I'm not saying this will happen, and I hope to God it doesn't. Because Bray, and this new gimmick he has, this new lease on life that he has in WWE, is too good to be taken away so soon. But you can't tell me that there weren't shareholders and stockholders that saw this and saw the entrance and probably thinking about what to do to try to get rid of this gimmick. You can't tell me they're not doing that. You cannot tell me they're not coming up with some kind of solution. Now, here's what's crazy. Some people say, even Alex has put out that, Deluxeman has said that Finn shouldn't have gotten offense tonight on the Fiend. And I agree with that. You're going to re-debut Bray as this monstrous dual personality character, and the one wrestling is basically someone that's virtually unstoppable, then you don't get offense on the guy. You basically let that person you're trying to reestablish in this new role dominate. You don't have him sell any offense or anything. You have him dominate. But I think that's why Finn got a little bit of offense in tonight, because maybe the stockholders already, even before the show, even before the official in-ring debut or re-debut of Bray as the Fiend, in actual competition happened, they probably got on the phone with Vince and a few of the people in charge and said, look, if you're planning on this character to dominate this other guy, Finn Balor, and Finn doesn't get offense in, we're going to do something about it. We're gonna do this or that. So maybe that's why they said, okay, Finn, you got to get some offense in. Even though I'm pretty sure Finn even agreed. Hey, look, that's not going to get Bray over if I do that. And Vince and them probably said, look, we understand that, but we got a call from the shareholders and the stockholders. And that's where I worry. I worry about the fact that unless they could talk these people into realizing, hey, this is just like dressing up for Halloween every day. There's nothing wrong with it. This is where I fear that the Fiend is not going to have a long life cycle. I'm not saying he won't. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping before this year is out, the Fiend's a freaking Universal or WWE champion. I'm hoping that happens, and I'm hoping he has a dominant run, just like everybody else. But I fear that the stockholders and the shareholders are going to have a say in this. You think WWE screwing Bray Wyatt up in the past, despite all his despite his original debut, and then kind of his soft reboot of his character after that? Do you think, honestly, WWE had somewhat of a say in it? Yeah, they did. But do you think it was on their own accord? No. My thought, when you really think about it, and again, you take a look at you go back and listen to what I just said earlier, I think the shareholders and stockholders had a say in it. They had a say. Because you can't tell me that some of these stockholders and shareholders aren't parents, aren't mothers with young kids and going like, no, you can't have that. That's too scary. You take that off or else we'll withdraw billions and billions of dollars from you. You can't tell me that, you can't tell me those shareholders and stockholders didn't have a say. They did. So to me, I worry about the Fiend. And I'm hoping that as we get closer to the fall, and Heyman gets more backstage control and influence as executive producer for Raw, which The Fiend is on, and Eric Bischoff gets the same kind of thing for SmackDown, which Balor / The Demon is on, that maybe they can convince these shareholders and stockholders in the end that there's nothing wrong with this, and these are not real, these are just people portraying these characters. Hopefully the stockholders and shareholders can be convinced, look, there's nothing wrong with this with Bray, there's nothing wrong with this, it's just like Halloween, same with the Demon. Like I said, same with the Demon, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, I worry, but I hope that worry that I have, just like everybody else has, gets squashed and demolished. But I do worry about the Fiend, Bray Wyatt's future. And again, I don't think it's because of Vince McMahon, with all, as crazy as that might sound, and his decision making. I don't think it's going to be because of Kevin Dunn and his, influence. No offense, God, when I do that. Sorry, please forgive me. I don't think it's going to be because of him. I don't think it's going to be because of anybody else. Heyman, Bischoff, whatever. I don't think it's going to be because of any of them. And again, like I said, I hope my worry gets squashed. Because like I was trying to say, and I was just thinking about what I was saying there, I lost my train of thought for a second. I don't think it's going to be because I don't think, honestly, again, you look at the track record. I don't think, honestly, Vince, Kevin Dunn, or anybody else would be to blame for the Fiend's sudden disappearance and we just get Bray Wyatt again. No. I think the people that you would have to blame is the stockholders and the shareholders, because like I said, they've done this before. You go back, as I was trying to say, that's why I lost my train of thought there for a second. You go back to what I said earlier, and they've had influence on a lot of controversial gimmicks, story angles, and whatever being dropped or altered or changed because they didn't like what they saw. And that's why I worry about the Fiend. I worry about him falling into that same trap. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully they can be convinced not to do this, because honestly, this is one of those rare times where I don't think we put the blame on Vince, Kevin Dunn, Eric Bischoff, Paul Heyman, or whoever. I think the people we should put the blame on, if the Fiend suddenly disappears or ends up going on a losing streak or whatever, or they come up with a story angle where they remove the mask and Bray needs the mask because has an identity crisis or whatever, is because of the shareholders and the stockholders. That's why I worry. That's why I worry about Bray Wyatt's future as the Fiend. Not because of something Vince would do or anybody else would do, but because of what the shareholders and stockholders would say. Because mainly, like I said, some of them are parents, if not mothers, and in today's age and society, mothers could be very offended by what gets showcased on television. And especially if it's television meant to be family friendly. So, again, those are just my thoughts. Hopefully, again, my worries get squashed and squandered, and I don't have to worry about anything, but we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think down below. Sorry for that little lost train of thought moment there for a second. I was just trying to think about what I was going to say. I guess I got too lost in what I was saying about the Vince thing and all that. But anyway, let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to y'all later.